Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. This episode of Geek Tank Radio is broadcasting live from the vendor room at the 3rd annual Kleptomaniacs Convention. All right, how did we get to year 3 on this thing?
They stole the first 2. You got to give legitimacy, and no one's going to go to the inaugural Klepto, convention.
Would you set up here? There's barbed wire when you walk in this place. It's just, I don't know, man.
All I know
it
is
sounds like too much trouble.
I can't find the prize wheel.
Okay.
All I gotta say is everything that's come up missing.
Yeah.
They will not steal Joe's hat.
No, that's true.
No.
Absolutely.
They just won't touch it. It's the foil lining is too thick.
Okay, anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max behind the glass. Well, we're joining you from at a special time. It's going to be an abbreviated show.
And we don't have financial advice for you.
No,
so
forget that.
I mean, we could give you that.
We can.
Yeah.
But if you're usually listening to Jill right now, give us a chance. We're pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally we would be joining you at noon, but the Tigers, who are 3-0, those guys are doing great. Hats off to the University of Memphis Tigers. They're playing great, but I guess they needed some Geek Tank in the system today, so we're here to oblige.
I think they're trying to convince us to talk about fantasy football, but I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not that big a nerd.
Yeah. You guys are way over the line compared to us. So,
give me my D&D any day.
So I think we're going to kind of lightly skip over a few lightly touch on a few topics.
Right.
One of them, Star Wars Visions, just came out, which is a anime shorts of Star Wars. It came out on Disney Plus. I love it because it's exposing people that maybe aren't into anime. It's a gateway, I think. This is going to be interesting.
I see that. I also think it's really it's familiar but fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh takes on a familiar universe. Not it's not like they're retelling the stories. We are definitely going to hit more on it once when we have more time. We will do an in-depth dive into it.
Yeah, it's a little different because they released the whole season, so we're not going to talk about every episode on. I mean, we'll spread it out because there's a nice variety,
and it really is different for Disney because Disney Plus has been really good about doing the weekly drops.
Yeah.
So getting this in one big chunk, it was like, oh, it's Christmas.
Yeah. I don't know if this is Christmas or not, Brandon, but you told us that Frogger is now a reality game.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right.
The game we grew up with.
If you're a fan of things like Most Extreme Challenge or Wipeout or The Floor is Lava, there's now a Frogger-themed version, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, so we're gonna
and one of the hosts is Damon Wayans Jr., which I
that'll
I
be
love
good.
the Wayans family. It's like you can drag me into anything by saying, one of the Wayans is in it.
Yeah, there's
Better-
a Wayans in it.
I mean, Marlon's my favorite.
Better than the Baldwin family, but anyway. Oh, speaking of that, hey, before we get to that, though, you said something off the air that honestly wasn't even in the queue. We were going to discuss it. I mean, we weren't going to discuss this, but I think it's worthy. You said Elon Musk is not Lex Luthor.
No.
He's actually the Joker.
He is the Joker.
If you've listened to our show for any length of time, you know that we think Elon Musk is a big schemer. He's definitely innovative. He definitely does a lot of exciting things, but he's up to something.
Well, I've come to the conclusion that Jeff Bezos is Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot of things. He does a lot of shady things. He does a lot of things that seem like they're going to benefit you, but it's all about control.
We're not sponsored by Amazon.
No.
Okay. All right.
Elon is just
However,
nuts.
we can be bought off.
Yes.
We can
just letting
be.
them know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're total mercenaries when it comes to that.
Okay.
But Elon is insane. I mean, he gave us a flamethrower.
Yeah. How do you raise money? Sell flamethrowers.
And
There
what was
you
he?
go.
Yeah,
what was-
that's not a
and
lawsuit waiting to
What
happen.
was he raising money for? The Boring Company, which is all about putting underground tubes for travel.
Yeah.
If that's not a supervillain, I don't know what is. But he's gonna release a Tesla for $25,000 with self-driving and everything else at a loss.
Right.
That's crazy.
Okay,
He's the Joker.
Okay, because the Joker, he does things that don't make any sense,
Right.
for nefarious reasons, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying,
Well,
what's
not even
the
necessarily
what's,
for nefarious reasons. Even the things he's done, which could be considered good during the going sane times when he thought Batman was dead,
okay?
they still don't make any sense. He became a postal worker.
Well, because what we've seen is that Elon Musk is going to be releasing a vehicle For very affordable, about $25,000. And the debate is, do we put a steering wheel on this thing? Which scares me.
On
I'm
a
not ready
joystick.
for fully
I'm-
self-driving cars.
I have a list of people that need to buy this car.
Well,
I can double that list.
Man.
so he's up to something, though. I guess the question, this is going to be an ongoing thing we're going to have to follow because, okay, he's clearly got a master plan. We just don't know what it is yet.
Right.
So. Okay, well, all right.
He launched a car into space just because he could.
Yeah, okay. I mean, but, we need more people like Elon Musk in the world, I have to say. At least he does
Jeff
stuff.
launched himself into space because he could.
And we don't even want to talk about what the rocket looked like.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Well, it was kind of a message to the world.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know, man. But it's interesting, and I will be interested to see how these things sell, and what, do you know what the vehicle's called? I'm not.
No.
Cheap.
I don't.
Cheap. It's not, and since when is a $25,000 vehicle considered cheap? I mean, that just shows.
Because it's a Tesla.
Since 2002.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. So we're gonna be following his career with great interest for sure, and caution. So.
And caution. I like
Caution.
that. He slides that in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and then come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the new Star Wars Visions miniseries and Frogger, the reality game.
Geek Tank Radio.
Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Yeah, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson with I'm Joe Thorderson. Here's my buddy, wrong show, with my buddies Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and Maximilian behind the glass, who was discombobulating everything with his great rejoiners. But my gosh, okay, let's pull it together, guys. Anyway,
Us.
it's an abbreviated version of Geek Tank, and it's of course at a different time period because the Memphis Tigers are playing today, and boy, are they playing great. So you can stand by for Tiger football coming up after us. But before that, you need your fill of geekdom, and Brandon, Disney Plus is proving that we will never cancel our subscription because just when you're tempted, they give you something new.
They give you something new. Yeah, that's true. And this latest thing that they've dropped on us is Star Wars Visions, which is an anime-inspired, limited series. They've dropped all the episodes at once, which they don't really do on Disney Plus. And I think it may be because of the fact that it's not really connected so much, other than the fact it's all Star Wars. And it's,
These are like little 15-minute shorts.
Famed anime directors, art style is amazing. Stories that feel familiar because of the universe you're in, but without being, a retread of everything that's come before. And I've only made it in like 3 or 4 episodes, because I've watched a couple here and there. I don't want this to be a limited series. I want this to get a second season. I want to see what even more directors would go. I would love to see just a full-on Star Wars anime movie in the vein of Attack on Titan.
Oh, I'd be all over that. Well, and I will say, because there's people, anime can be.
I don't like Attack on Titan, but I love.
Actually spun.
Oh, Attack on Titan.
Well, I know.
Awesome.
I know it's Joe's. It's Joe's. Bread and butter when it comes to anime.
Well,
that's the one you usually reference. whenever we talk
I'm
about
sorry,
it.
I just don't want to see a giant naked Yoda running around trying to eat people.
We don't need that part. But if you think about the action and the cadence of the storyline in Attack on Titan, and you do something with Jedi and Mandalorians and something in that style, it would kill.
Let's just say anime is the sped up version.
Yeah.
Of anything else.
Well, I want
to
anime rolls. Anime is
unless it's Dragon Ball, at which point it takes 7 weeks for somebody to charge.
Well,
I want to wait. I want to throw one thing in, though, Allan.
Yeah,
here's the thing with anime that because for the uninitiated that don't watch it, I'm going to admit you can't. Okay, for one thing, you cannot just say anime as a blanket thing because there is a style of anime for everybody. If you want Miyazaki, where it's a little more laid back and chilled out, if you want the high energy stuff, like like you said, Dragon Ball. If you want the gritty, edgy stuff like Attack on Titan, so don't watch this with the assumption of, oh well, I watched episode 3 and I've already determined anime is not for me. They have 8 different distinct styles that they're throwing at us. So there's if you don't like one, we guarantee there's one that you are gonna like. Go ahead, Max.
Well, this is also a reflection of Japanese culture in and of itself, because anime and manga in general is kind of the art form or the media used across like different age generations. You have shonen and shoujo for like, you know, the younger kids, and then for more like adult audiences, you have a little bit more adult anime, like they could get a little bit more gritty and serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they're giving us with Star Wars Vision. The first episode was really interesting. It was I don't even know what you call that style. It looked like they made it look sort of old, and it looked sort of freaky, like something out of the early 70s or something.
It looked like an
was
Akira
great.
Kurosawa film, which is interesting because it goes back full circle since George Lucas was inspired by Kurosawa.
Yep.
You know, that's a good point. How did you miss that, Alan? You didn't bring that up. I thought you would have
You
come
haven't
right
let
out
him
of the gate with
speak.
that. So, all right, go ahead. Well, I guess because I got excited. This is a cool series. It is different. Yeah. So, but that's a good point.
You know,
George Lucas was highly influenced.
If
by
we
that.
if we gave Allan a breath, he may have said something.
Yeah. So.
You know,
But that just goes to show again how excited we are about Visions, because I'm still not letting Allan speak.
Well, yeah. I'll pick on real fast, like, you know, any movie with the word 7 in it. You know, like Seventh Samurai gave us any number of westerns.
Yeah.
Any number of Japanese samurai movies became hits.
Yeah.
In other cultures
usually
using the format.
Usually, you know, you took anything, you know, that is, you know, the Asian culture, and you made spaghetti westerns. You made, you know, underground, you know, exploitation films. You made, I mean, just, you can look at modern day movies now and find how it connects to ancient Asian cinema from like the 70s.
Well, you can.
I'm trying to
even
make you feel
watch-
old again.
I know, but I'll give you a freebie of 1962. Probably one of the worst movies ever made that's still being shown, Godzilla versus King Kong.
How dare you, sir?
The original, it's horrible.
You ever see MST3K get their hands on that?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Baby,
Red
that
meat.
becomes hilarious.
Just because you can riff on something to make it good does not make it good. In fact,
Okay.
it makes
But
it worse.
the
Okay.
pacing and style of that movie can be it walks through the MCU.
Yeah.
Did you see Ant-Man?
Oh yeah.
Guess what? That's a kaiju.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, if I remember, it was either Brandon, I can't remember if it was you or Alan, that one of your critiques of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars was that they stepped away from George Lucas's sensibilities of this is a samurai kind of movie, right? I mean, wasn't that sort of one of the...
Well-
it just, they lost that tone.
I don't remember us really putting a whole lot of criticism towards the sequel trilogy because we weren't you, but no. It's definitely why it doesn't connect with the fans as well, is because of the fact that it tried to deviate from what was basically a samurai mixed fantasy film.
It was it was Seven Samurai again.
Yeah.
It was, you know, samurais with, instead of guns, you know, the Yul Brynner movies. You know, we had samurais with, you know, basically some kind of sword.
True.
Yeah.
It was not a unskilled weapon. And then we kind of went more towards blasters and running around blowing up stuff and having huge armies. And you lost the mysticism.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think even with the last little wrap up on the big movies before we get to The Mandalorian, I think we had still lost the mysticism of the samurai.
Yeah.
We
You're right.
We didn't have that master samurai.
But luckily,
leading the charge.
things like, you know, I mean, Visions is a direct correlation to Asian cinema. But
Yes.
you know, The Mandalorian, as you brought up, it's a Sergio Leone spaghetti western. So it completely draws from Asian cinema there.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we've got. It is Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. But it was, well, you know, sometimes you have to move the recipe over
Yeah.
one generation
In order to
make it
remember why you,
palatable. Right.
in order, and you bring it back in order to remind everybody this is where we started. This is what you loved, but you don't realize how much you love it until someone tries to take it away.
Right.
Good point. Yeah, and I will say this for Visions, I'm guessing I would be surprised if somebody liked every episode. I feel like you're gonna go, I like episode 4, 6, and whatever,
They're not
but
designed to,
which
you
is
have
good.
7 different animation houses.
Which is probably why they're releasing it all at once, because if they did it week to week, they might lose viewers.
It's very much in the same vein as the what was it, Batman Gotham Knights and The Matrix. I can't remember what the name of the anime anthology that was based in the Matrix universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really good ones, and then there are those where you're like, why did they make this?
Yeah,
but it's true. It's like you were saying. Not everybody's going to like every episode, but there's going to be something in there for everybody.
Yeah, so check it out, and I'm sure we're going to be weighing in when we have a little more time. Each week we'll once we've seen the whole series, because we haven't finished it. But
I mean, to jump over, I mean, there's a massive amount of content coming out all the way across the board.
Right.
Peacock just released a whole bunch of stuff, didn't they?
And of course, the biggest thing that stuck out for me was Frogger.
Yeah, talk to it. That sounds funny.
Okay, so
because we all played the game when we were kids.
We did.
So.
That was. I don't know how many quarters you put into the arcade, Joe, but I played it on the Atari 2600 at home.
Yeah.
I built a lot, of those machines.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was one of the few games I was actually good at, Brandon. So that's why I played
and I'm
it so
sure
much.
that Nerd Alert has a retro cabinet for it over there, but it is now they take contestants, they put them through the course. You hit the water, you lose a life. You hit the wrong spot of the alligator, you hit the life.
So they're not getting run over by cars?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
There's another. There's only 4 episodes so far this season.
No fatalities. Okay.
But it's I mean, of course, it's your basic format. You've got two witty hosts, and they will make fun of you as per usual. But I mean, it's very much like Wipeout or Most Extreme Challenge. You're gonna go ow when you see what some of the things happen.
Are people going to be dressed like frogs? I mean, that's dehumanizing enough.
Yes,
really?
Yes, they are.
So there's no dignity at all.
No, there's no dignity at all.
Do they have that bell sound, that bling bling when you hop?
They play the sound effects. They play the music. It's just fun. I've watched the season. I watched the series premiere. And I was like, okay, I need more of this. And it's like, okay, I've got more of this. And it is filling in that hole. They tried to bring Wipeout back last year with Cena and Yvette Nicole Byers. That's why I can't ever remember her name, but she makes me laugh every time she's on anything. Yeah. From Nailed It. And it's a fun show, but it just doesn't have the same heart that Wipeout had before. But this actually seems to have heart. And it's a lot,
Is
and
the
there's
set
going to be
cool?
people,
Because that's the whole thing.
Dude, there's water and moving parts, and you'll sit there and watch the episode the second time going, all right, how did they get these steps to do what they're doing? From a carpentry point of view, you'll be interested because it's got platforms that move in and out on one of the levels where you're going up a pirate ship to get a cracker to give to a parrot that's going to take you to an island.
Well, wait a minute. I call foul because the whole point was a frog crossing the street and not getting run over.
That's just level 1.
Joe, did you never make it?
You get past level 1.
Oh, that's right. You climb over the logs.
And
okay,
then you got to go
that's
to the
right.
logs and you get into the thing. And the levels,
okay, that makes sense.
As you get farther in, later on, I mean, in the arcade, it was the same level over and over because that's all they could do.
Yeah.
But as you get farther in some of the home games, they had, very intricate levels. And you get those in the course of the show.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Yeah, that's right. I did forget about the different levels because the frog's on a journey. It's a quest.
He's trying to get into his little home where if you get there at the right time where there's a fly, you get extra points.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, cool. So one reason to check out the Peacock Network, I suppose, and also
there's a lot of reasons to check out the Peacock Network.
If you're missing The Office,
guys, The Office, Parks and Rec, but. On October 15th, they're dropping the new Halloween movie at the same time that it's going into theaters.
Yep.
And it's not extra; it's just part of the Peacock subscription.
Wow. Okay.
And you get, if you're a wrestling fan, you get the WWE Network.
We got to quit all these free plugs for people that aren't paying us. But anyway, hey, well, if you feel like you've been run over by a truck, never fear. You're just that's the normal experience when you're listening to Geek Tank Radio. But guys, we're out of time. We got to get out of here for Tigers football. So. On behalf of my friends, well, never mind, let me start that over. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're the Geek Patrol. Until next week, I am Joe Thorderson.
And I'm Allan Gilbert.
And I am Brandon Olmstead. Go Tigers.